Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Mega Man 10. In the last one we started off Wily's castle, and now we're heading off to Endgame. With Wily 4, which, as you can tell by the fact that it's a straight shot upwards, is the shortest actual stage, but it's also where we get our Mega Man staple boss rush. So we're going to be hitting the music in a few moments. Things of note about this one is, I think this is the only boss rush I've seen in the series that I can think of off the top of my head. There's probably been one or two more, I just can't remember at the moment. Where the boss rush placements, like in the capsules, are actually the same as the stage select. Also notable, there are various items you can grab along the way up here on the two pathways. I think there's an extra life and a large energy on the left, but there's like an E-tank and something else here on the right. Make sure to, at this point, as long as you have like enough E-tanks and extra lives, you can actually basically do whatever you want with them. I do recommend saving at least 2, maybe 3, for the final bosses, though. Also, falling here is very punishing, because you almost lose an entire screen. It's kind of annoying. The strategies do change a little bit when you're going for this versus Proto Man or Base. Base, you can honestly just go all out even more. Proto Man, though, you want to be pretty conservative with, because, honestly, it's worth getting a game over or two if you want to, like, grind those E-tanks from this stage, or in general, just get more for your supplies, because this place can be deadly as him. Either way, hit the music. Yakuza Kiwami has a really, really good soundtrack, and so does Zero for that matter, because I just started playing that one too. Yeah, I'd say just saying as if I am not already 36 hours in. Either way, next boss is weak against Solar Blaze, so get that out, and it's time for Wily Machine 10. Phase 1 is all about missiles. It fires 2 out from the top right, which track onto you, while it's alternating between 2 altitudes and firing out the 2 larger ones directly at you. You're supposed to use the larger ones as platforms to get easy hits in on the machine itself. Solar Blaze admittedly has a secondary use here besides just being a weakness, in that it can also get rid of the missiles. However, that also means you can use the missiles themselves as a way to activate the waves from Solar Blaze and get easy hits in on him. This is also a fairly easy boss to buster only if I recall, and in terms of the differences on hard mode, I think the speed increases. I think that's it. For both phases of this fight right now at the moment even. Because I don't think this boss has any extra attacks. Phase 1. It hurts if you get hit, especially as Proto Man, obviously, but we faced worse. Phase 2 is weak against the water shield, and it's a bit awkward to hit with it, unless you're facing to the left and you burst it outwards. He goes back and forth on the top of the screen a few times, firing those green projectiles which track on you similarly to the projectiles from Phase 2 of Wily Machine 1. And then eventually he comes down to the bottom of the screen, where one of 2 things will happen, generally simultaneously. He'll send out this little electric ball that will lock you into a shield to try to freeze you in place so that he can hit you with the other electric attack, which causes just a giant lightning bolt of electricity to zoom across your half of the screen. However, there is a way to avoid it by standing underneath his lower jaw. But as you can see, overall, fairly easy Wily Machine compared to a lot of the other ones we faced in the past. Wily Machine 9 was harder, and that's mostly just due to the timing stuff you had to do with it. So how did no one notice Dr. Wily building a giant orbital elevator that led to a space station? What the hell? Either way, I really love that. That's so suitably stupid but cool at the same time, the way they do the music there. Either way, the final level here, these drill bit enemies I think are the only ones we encounter, at least on normal mode. Hard mode has a few extra enemies, but it is a space level, so we do have lower gravity, so you can use that to your advantage. This is more or less, I guess, just supposed to be a giant moody atmospheric stage. I do know the subtitle for 10 in Japan was A Threat from Outer Space. Kind of weird they'd finally bring that up now of all times, but yeah. Alright, you see that there? That's not an M tank. Because this level was upside down, if you were paying attention to the Dr. Wily logo at the start of it, that's a W tank. So, it's not really worth going after. Plus, if you're like me, you have more than enough to begin with anyway. Also, here we get to take abuse of a certain thing with the drill bit enemies in this game. They'll only actually spawn on the lower and highest points in the floor. So they actually won't spawn on this middle platform at all. That's called using your brain. Alright, now down here, that is an M tank over there. So I actually recommend getting this one in case you already used one as it was. Yeah, why not? Let's hear the giant phone ring here again. Ah, music to my ears. They're bleeding, but it's music. Also, weird little quirk with the Mega Man 10 pause screen that I haven't really gotten to go over because we've rarely seen it. You actively have to confirm your weapon when you to leave it instead of just pressing the start button, which is kind of weird. Either way, it's time for the final boss, which is the Chill Spike, and it has 2 attacks. One for each Wily. I see the fake Wily having the Reploid triangle on your head. I see you, game. One attack is that they send 5 balls of energy across the screen from one that track onto you. Essentially, it's an evolution from the Mega Man 7 Balls of Death. Here it is right now. And the other one is to send a ball of energy along the floor, which will go up into the other Wily, and then it'll spread between the two of them, shooting balls of energy down below. The way you dodge this is by staying on the interior of whatever Wily you're next to. However, as you can see, Chill Spike tears him a new one. On hard mode, I think the attacks are faster and go on a bit longer, and vice versa, or rather the opposite on easy mode. But he's down, and that's game. And now another of your schemes ends in failure. Hmm? What's wrong with you? You've got a fever. I guess that's what they call poetic justice. I should just leave you here. You just never give up with your half-brained plans for world domination. Something wrong with you? Oh, you've got a fever. How'd you end up catching Robo-Enza? Don't be ridiculous. Well, see you around. I've got you now. Dr. Wily? You've got a fever. Did you catch the Robo-Enza virus too? I'm a human, not a robot. I gotta get you to a hospital. A few days later. Oh no! Dr. Wily's gone missing! Oh, what's this? And that's Mega Man 10. Ah, some memories here. One thing I should mention is that they actually foreshadow that little sickness thing going on there in the Wily battle. You just didn't see it during the Mega Man portion. Essentially, there's a random chance when he reappears with the robot version of himself that he'll sneeze, which is supposed to be another auditory cue in case you can't exactly tell which one's which at a quick glance. Mega Man 10 is a game I have a bit of a Mega Man Legends issue with, compared to Mega Man 9 nowadays, in that I think 9 is the better game now that I've grown up, but I have a lot more nostalgia for 10, and 10 is a great game. There's a lot of content here between the 3 difficulties, the 3 characters, all the challenges and such, and Legacy Collection even adds on to that due to the new challenges. This is a game that is worth your money, I think. even more so now with Legacy Collection 2 out, so you can have it, 9, 7, 8, for some reason not Mega Man and Bass, in the same package. I do recommend playing with Mega Man or Bass in the long run. Proto Man makes the game a bit too annoying at times, unless you're playing on easy mode. But if you're in there for the challenge, Proto Man hard mode is quite the torturous journey, to say the least. The levels are well done, the music's great. On the whole, it's just a very good package. And it's kind of weird to think that this was, I think, the last game in the series we got for a long time during that huge drought that is now finally coming to an end, which I hope continues to happen, because even X9's being teased now due to Legacy Collection stuff and the soundtrack disc, which really dates when this is getting recorded, doesn't it? But I'm looking forward to see what the future has from the Blue Bomber now that it looks like he's finally coming back. Heck, we just got the release date for the new cartoon, which I hope is not horrible. I'm probably going to watch it either way, because God, I was starved for Mega Man content, those new Mega Man stuff, those 8 years. I mean, we got, like, Street Fighter Cross Mega Man and Mega Man Unlimited, but in terms of, like, full-out official releases that weren't originally fan games, there was a lot of just drought there. Though, actually, I'm surprised I didn't mention it. Mega Man Unlimited, a lot of Mega Man fans have probably heard of that fan game by now. An interesting thing happened with the Capcom site with this game, in that when this game was being developed, Mega Man Unlimited was called Mega Man 10, and they actually used a piece of art from it, which is, whoops. Real memories, though, playing this back in 7th, 8th grade, back when. I've grown a lot since then. And I'm very glad to see myself still enjoy the game all these years later. If you want to play it, the original version was released on the Wii, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. However, the Wii version, by the time this gets uploaded, is basically impossible to get. However, it's also available, as I'm playing it here, on the Legacy Collection 2, available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and Microsoft Windows. Sorry, Linux and Mac users. I do wholly recommend it, though. I love 10. And as for where we're gonna go next with the Blue Bomber, well, Classic Series, I don't think I'm gonna do the remake until after 11, the remake of the first game, until after 11 comes out. But I think at some point, I think I'm gonna do a revisit not only to a certain other timeline, about 300 years in the future from here, but I think I'm also doing a revisit to games that I look back on my old LPs of, and I have a few wishes, to say the least. Plus, with the release of a certain fan translation for the DS recently, wink, 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 there's a bit more new stuff I could tackle. In general, though, what's up for me next? Actually, where's my list of games that I wrote out like a year and a half ago now, just for, in case I don't know what to say at the end of it, tell people what I want to do next. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Let's flip through here for a bit. Could return to Donkey Kong Country, go for some beat-em-ups, Batman Returns maybe, Mario 2, Lost Levels, something. You'll see what's next up, probably. Knowing my upload schedule, I do things pretty quickly anyway as it is. Also, I think Mega Man 10 might have one of the longer credit sequences in the classic series, rather, which is kind of weird. But now I think about it, there's something else that Mega Man 10 has that I didn't really bring up that compared to the other games. It's the only game in the classic series thus far, because Mega Man 11 might do this as well for all I know, that has a different boss theme for the Robot Masters, the Wily Machine, and the Wily Capsule. Usually the Wily Capsule, if it's not, Wily Machine rather, if it's not the final boss in of itself, it has the normal boss theme. At the end of the day, though, Mega Man 10's a great game. I heavily recommend it. And before we end things off, though, by the way, I love this ending screen, we're going to get the achievements I got for this playthrough. And also the unlock of Wily challenges. Womp Wily, Blue Bomber, Tenacious, and Invincible. Pretty good. I don't think I'll ever get the Mr. Perfect achievement, honestly. And we can now access hard mode. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. Take care. And I'll see you guys next Let's Play, whatever that may be. See you guys then.